Right, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this video I am looking at body language. I have been studying human behaviour and body language to help me with interactions because reading body language doesn't come naturally to me. I've been studying body language for the last 3 years with the aid of Chase Hughes, Joe Navarro, Mark Bowden, Scott Rouse, Greg Hartley and various other experts. I've read numerous books and so on and so forth, and I've done a number of courses. I'm no expert, I'm a student in this sort of thing. I'm going to react to a video looking at human behaviour and body language, what I see. Like I say, I'm no expert. So the video I'm reacting to is ExploreAlot, and the video is in the scariest pub in Wales, the Skirrid Inn. I believe that's how it's said. I'm not going to show the entire video. Go and check that out yourself. I'm just looking at the start of the video, the interview with the guy who works there and so on. And I'm going to let you know what I see. And in the conclusion at the end, I have watched the entire video. In the conclusion at the end, I'll give you my thoughts. Let's get into the video.
So the history of the building originally dates back to roughly 1110. Obviously some things change over the years, walls get knocked down, put back up, rooms have changed, positions. But we try and keep things as original as we can. So during the 17th century, there was a sort of like institution put into place across UK where any large building in a village would double as the courts for that village as well. And because at the time we were the largest building in Llanfihangel, we became the local village court. So most of the crimes usually were stealing livestock, crops, that kind of thing. But it was the case that people were held in a storage cupboard, which was on the stairs. They would be tried in room 1 and 2, because it used to be one big room, and then if sentenced to death, they would be hung in the stairwell from this very beam here. On the inside of this beam, there is actually burn marks from where the rope has gone snapped taut and it's worn away at the wood. I think the lowball estimate for people hanged here was around 80.
Okay, so in this clip, the guy is just giving the history of the building, telling the story of the building. It's a good reference point to get his baseline. So what we're looking for is changes to his baseline. So we've just seen how he is, so we're going to be looking for changes to that.
So I've worked here for about, it's just coming up a year now, I think, next month, and I've had some strange things in whether my first week or my second week. I was in the cellar changing a barrel, and I was struggling to just move the new barrel into place, and I could hear someone laughing behind me, like clear as day, laughing. And I thought, what everyone thinks, like the kitchen lot coming down, taking the mick, pick on the new guy type thing. But no, I turned around, the door was still shut, and the door is noisy, so it wouldn't have been like someone shut it and ran. The door was still solid shut, and I was on my own in the cellar. So that was a little bit of a freak me out moment.
Okay, so as he says strange things, he moves his hands together, starts adapting on his ring, and then he moves his hands down in between his legs, covering his groin area that's called fig leafing. And as he says cellar, his voice goes upwards in an upward inflection. So we generally do that when you're questioning something, you're looking for approval. So yeah, he doesn't sound too confident in that. He is telling the story and he's asking for approval to that story. So do I think that was a paranormal event? No. He said it actually while he was talking. I think new boy on the block, yeah, someone was probably having a laugh with him.
Recently as well, we did sort of like a was kind of like a team meeting. We all heard like footsteps coming from upstairs, and we knew we had residents the night before, so we just assumed maybe they were still there. But I double checked with the person who like does the breakfast and everything. They said like no, they left straight after breakfast. They left at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and this was at like 11 or 12.
So as he says team meeting, he has a micro expression of disgust. Also, as he says footsteps upstairs, he touches his mouth, he gives an eyebrow flash, and as he says they assumed it was residents from the night before, he gives another face touch, and his hands are moving about. You can see his forearms moving, so he's adapting. So I would say that's questionable. I don't fully believe that, but possibly he knows that it was his mates having a laugh from earlier. He wasn't impressed with being in a team meeting. Did they hear footsteps upstairs? Possibly. It's a hotel. Was it paranormal? No.
Big ghost as well is Fanny Price. She was the landlady of the building during the 18th century, and she passed away very young of tuberculosis. She actually died in the restaurant. She was only, I think she was late 30s, early 40s when she passed. She left behind a daughter. So it's often been said that if you can smell lavender when you're upstairs, if you go out onto the landing, you will see her in a white nightgown walking between room 1 and room 3, which used to be her bedroom. There's a story, it's relatively recently. There was a woman who said that she felt off when she was in the room. You know, she just felt uneasy, and so she tried to have a bath to relax, and she almost drowned. She said she could feel hands pushing her head under the water for a long time, and it was only last minute she was able to break free. And she thought someone else was in the room, but there was no one else there. And it was, she came down and she said like, I almost died in that room, I need to get out here.
Okay, so as he says Fanny Price, there's a massive body shift. His eyes go left to right like he's looking for something. Then he closes his eyes, so that's a eye block. He's adapting with his hands. Then when he opens his eyes, they go down to the right, which is normally associated with emotion, but in this case, I think he's looking for what he's trying to say. Because they go down to the right and then they go down to the left. And as his eyes go down to the left, he goes back into his scripted story. So, yeah, I don't think he's overly convinced by the Fanny Price story either, or he forgot what the story was and he was looking for those answers. Interesting deviation from baseline though. Cool story though.
And this is one of the scariest parts of this building. So as you can see, I'm sure you all know what this is, and that is because this building, before it was the haunted pub it's known as today, it actually was a courthouse. And what is absolutely terrifying, normally when people would die from hanging, they'd obviously go through the trapdoor, which would, most of the time, it would snap their necks. But here, they were forced to step off the stairwell, which meant they slowly strangled to death, and it was a lot of pain, a lot of suffering that took place right in front of me where I'm stood. And I've got to say, the feeling here, it is like nothing I've ever felt, ever.
So here where she's looking at the noose and she's talking about hanging, she indicates towards her neck. She doesn't touch her neck. She indicates towards her neck, which is normal. She's just talking about it and indicating it. As she says, stepping off the landing, you can see her grief muscle, which is this muscle just here. I can't make it go off. When someone is sad or anything like that, or they're thinking about something sad, their eyebrows come together and it activates the grief muscle here. Very hard to do by faking it. So, yeah, she clearly doesn't like the story of people having to walk off the landing to their death. Also, her eyes go wide and she has a genuine look of sadness on her face. And her hand goes to her chest. So, yeah, I don't think she particularly likes that part of the story. Whether it's entertainment or not, she doesn't like that particular part of the story, I would say.
It's a lot more sinister, I've got to say. The rooms as well here, honestly, they really don't feel nice or welcoming. It's not somewhere I would choose to spend the night at all. I mean, look at that. And I don't know why I'm being so brave walking around here by myself, because I tell you what, I'm not feeling brave. I'm feeling like an absolute wuss. Look at this. The old beds here, and you can see like where they've had to renovate over time as well. And I think a lot of the furniture's probably quite old here too. And as we know, old furniture, that can also hold its own energy. Look at this. Stunning. We have already had some activity in this room, specifically in here. It's a small little cubby hole. So you've got a small toilet and a tiny little room. We will get into what's happened in here later, but this room has got a really, really suppressive feeling actually. This last room I'm going to go in, this is where we spent a lot of time already this evening. And we have had some really interesting but also quite terrifying activity in this room. So I'm going to show you this. I mean, comment down below if while I'm walking around you can feel anything from the building, because I tell you what, it is heavy. This room here, we've had a lot of apparitions already tonight. And this is the last room, which like I said, would have been part of the court. And I'm also joined by these two tonight. If you've not checked them out, they will be linked down below. As you can see, they're just chilling while I've been brave, doing my walk around. I did, facing my fears. But yeah, this is the last room here. Super creepy. As I said, we've seen things in here, we've heard things, we've felt things in here. And this is the bathroom where that lady literally felt like she was being strangled, and it was in that very bath there.
Okay, so I find this one interesting and a little bit amusing. So she's still walking around with the lights off with a thing on, saying how spooky it is and creepy and whatever. And she says, it's not somewhere I would choose to stay. Really. It's not somewhere you would choose to spend the night. But you have. You're there, spending the night there, doing an investigation, making a film. So, and obviously when you're walking around with the light on top of the camera, obviously you've got all the lights off. Of course it's going to look spooky, it's going to look creepy, but you're doing that on purpose. You're doing that to set the mood for the video. The lights are on in the room where they're all sat. So the building has power. It's a hotel. It has power. you could have had the lights on right the way round, couldn't you? There was no need to us to be using the light on top of the camera, making it all look spooky for the video. You could have turned the lights on. So that tells me you're setting the scene for the video. It's part of the narrative. Is it as creepy as what you've made out? Probably not if you turn the lights on. So, so far, the entire feel that has been, well, the entire feel of the video so far has been manufactured. It's not real. It's been faked, if you like. It's been manufactured because you could have, in each room, turned the light on and given a proper view of what the room actually looks like. But you know that using a little light on top whilst filming just makes the video a little bit more creepy, a little bit more scary, if you like, if you're into that sort of thing. So what's my final conclusions? So a lot of it comes down to belief. And in this one, I'm talking about their beliefs. They may have thought they heard things. They may have thought they experienced things down to their own personal beliefs. I'm not going to go through the entire video in this video. It'd be too long. And I have watched the video. And yeah, if you want to watch the video, feel free, go to the channel, go and watch the video. If you want to watch what Beardo says about it, go and check out his video on it. But for me, what I will say is they may believe it, they may not believe it. I don't know, I wasn't there, I wasn't with them. They say they heard stuff when I didn't hear stuff on the video. The guy in white was saying that he heard stuff or heard footsteps, and immediately the girl says, no, that was the clock. So that doesn't bode well, does it? Do I believe they had any paranormal experiences? No, I don't. But it was a cool story. It was a cool story. The stories at the start were quite cool, and yeah, it was a good effort at building the mood. But walking into a room where it's fully lit, for me, I mean, straight off the bat, you've faked the mood of it. So what else have you faked throughout it? But yeah, it was okay. Not the best paranormal video I've seen, but not the worst. So yeah, fair play. So like I say, for me it was a cool story. Was there anything paranormal? No. But it was quite interesting to have a look at the body language and the behaviour around it. So if you like this kind of content, please do hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below if there's any videos you would like me to take a look at, particularly if there's an interview, because that's what I can look at better. The investigation, not so much, because from what I've seen on other investigations that I've watched, there's a lot of acting involved and a lot of drama and stuff like that. So they're playing a role. But at the starts of the videos, it can be quite telling on what you're going to get in those videos. So that all being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.